For the love of everything behavior change, please stop trying to get rid of your bad habits. Hi, my name is Dr. Karin Nordin, and I am a PhD level expert in all things mindset and behavior science. And I work with a ton of people who come to me and they have a vision for their future self, and they want to ask me, Karin, how do I get rid of my bad habit of snacking at night? Or how do I get rid of my bad habit of scrolling? Or how do I get rid of my bad habit of skipping the gym? And first, I want to say that there is no morality to habits. There is no such thing as a good or a bad habit. Some habits are helpful and some habits are less helpful. But if there are things you want to reduce or get rid of in your life, focusing on reducing or getting rid of those things is not the right approach. So in this video, I'm going to teach you what the right approach is and why it's scientifically backed and truly is going to work much better for you in the long run. The first reason I want you to stop focusing on your bad habits is because of the difference between something called an approach goal and something called an avoidance goal. An avoidance goal is something that you want to avoid or something that you want to reduce. For example, I want to stop scrolling when I get home from work at 5 p.m. The problem with avoidance goals is that they tell your brain what not to do, but they don't tell your brain what to do. And that lack of clarity, it can mean that when you come home at 5 p.m. and you're tired, if you don't have an alternative set up, you are basically gonna dive right into that bad habit. Instead, when you have something that you wanna get rid of out of your life, I would encourage you to set an approach-focused goal. An approach-focused goal is going to be something that you want to do. For example, I want to read for 15 minutes when I get home from work every day. Having clarity on what you're going to do in order to replace that bad habit, that is going to give your brain something to move towards. It's more specific, it's directional, and it's something that your brain is going to have a lot easier time working towards and comprehending than simply trying to avoid the thing. If you've heard the classical psychological trick of don't think about a white rabbit, the harder you try to not think about a white rabbit, the more you're gonna think about that white rabbit. And this is the exact same thing that's happening when you focus all your efforts on that avoidance goal rather than focusing on what you could add to your life instead. The second thing I want you to do if you're trying to get rid of a bad habit is I want you to focus on what that bad habit is actually bringing you. So for example, if you're snacking late at night and let's say it's disrupting your sleep, what emotional, psychological, or physical need are you actually getting met by that snacking? Maybe that snacking is giving you a sense of groundedness. Maybe it's a sense of entertainment. Maybe you're actually hungry and that snacking is fulfilling your energy needs for the day. By figuring out exactly what that bad habit is solving for, you're going to be able to create a new habit that's going to better replace it. For example, some people seek out food as a sort of sensory need thing. You need to be able to feel and touch something, and that helps you be grounded in your body. Then replacing that snacking habit with knitting or something where your hands are moving is going to be way more effective than trying to A, just simply not snack, or B, replacing it with something that doesn't fill that need. One of my favorite sayings from my former employer, Precision Nutrition, is every behavior is an attempt to solve a problem. So if you stop thinking about your habits as bad and you start getting curious about what problem your brain is trying to solve while driving you towards those things, that is going to be a way more helpful approach. And finally, the third thing I want you to do instead of focusing on your bad habit is I want you to focus on what happens in the 3 to 5 hours before that bad habit starts to appear. For example, let's say you have the bad habit of procrastinating your bedtime. You lay in bed and scroll TikTok over and over and over until it's way too late and you know you're not gonna get enough sleep. In that case, I would look at the 3 to 5 hours beforehand and I would ask yourself, what can I do in this 3 to 5 hours that maybe fulfills that need or maybe even places that behavior earlier? For example, maybe you give yourself 30 minutes of designated scroll time after dinner and then you put your phone away so that you're not doing that scrolling later at night. By backtracking and figuring out how could you do that behavior earlier, how could you fulfill that need earlier, or even how could you prevent the stress or chaos or whatever's driving you towards that in the first place? How can you solve the problem before the problem even starts? So focusing on earlier in the day focusing on prevention is actually gonna be way, way easier than trying to hyper-focus on that bad habit and stop it immediately when it's occurring. Now, we love to do a little crowdsourcing on here. So I would love to hear in the comments your avoidance goal, what habit you want to get rid of, and then I want you to rewrite it as an approach goal and ask yourself, what am I moving towards? Okay, I don't want to be on my phone. Great. Where do I want my phone to be? What do I want to be doing? Write your avoidance and approach goal in the comments and we'll comment back and give you some tips and tricks if we see anything that can be improved. And by the way, if you feel like you're really attached to these bad habits or you feel like you're really, really driven towards them, make sure to check out my video on how stress affects your goals and habits. Because one of the things you can do is manage your stress even better, which I teach you how to do in that video, and that's going to help you reduce that driver that you have to that habit in the first place. If you're looking for more like this, make sure you're on our Tuesday Toolbox email list, which is linked in the description below. We send out tangible emails every single Tuesday, giving you behavior change tools and application-based activities that you can use to help implement them and change your life in the direction that you're looking for. That's it. That's the end. And change your life in the direction that you're looking for. That was a better end, slightly.